We continue learning Dirshu Mishnah Beruraha, Hilchais Tefillah, most particularly the halachas of Tashlumim, and we pick it up from Siman Kuf Ches Sif Tes. Says the Machaber Tov Lo Yispalel Mincha Be'erev Shabbos. Someone made a mistake, and he did not daven Mincha on Erev Shabbos. Mispalel Arvish Tayim Shal Shabbos. He davens two Ma'irivs of Shabbos. Harishayin Al Arvis, as always, the first being the tefillah that you're davening right down, which of course in this case is Ma'ariv. Vashniya, the second is the Tashlumim, which is your Mincha. Says the Ram Avu Adinim Lo Yispal Mincha Be'erev Rosh Chodesh. Mispal Shal Rosh Chodesh Tayim. You daven two Rosh Chodeshes, and of course the Chodesh here is that your Tashlumim is a different tefillah. My Tashlumim is Shabbos, but it's Tashlumim for the weekday, but still you're allowed to have such Tashlumim. Similarly for Rosh Chodesh. However, similarly, if you didn't see Alviyav in the first one, v'hiskir b'shniya sarich lachzar u'lehispalel. So this is going to be a little bit confusing. That if in the first tefillah you did not see Alviyav, second one you did, you have to daven again. Avlim lehiskir b'shteyem az yiskir b'rishayna v'loy b'shniya. Or you did in the first and not the second, and ain't tzarich lachzar. And the complication here is you don't repeat Ma'ariv when you miss Yal V'Yavai. But here the problem is your Ma'ariv was your Mincha because it's Tashlumim. So again, if you didn't say Yal V'Yavai in the first one and you remembered in the second one, then you have to repeat. But if you did not say Yal V'Yavai in either, or if you remembered in the first Shemoneh Esrei and not in the second, then you do not have to go back. So let's go back. Let's go to the Mishnah Beruraha over here. Sivkat and Chav Hey. Let's let the Mishnah Beruraha explain to us what's going on. It says in Mishnah Beruraha Shal Shabbos, Afal Gav. Even though Shabbat Tashlum Shal Chol, as we pointed out, even though the Chodesh here being Tashlum of the weekday, Mikol Makom Kiv Sha'achshavu Shabbos. Mispalo Yisai Gankin Shal Shabbos. You have to daven Shabbos. Let's say you messed up. First one, you daven Ma'ariv of Shabbos. Then you daven the weekday. Pater Mispalo, you're Pater. Ve'im Hiktim. B'zeh Shal Chol Shal Shabbos. Let's say you messed up and you did a weekday before Shabbos. Then Lo Yatzal Kul Yalma. Why? Shar Nikish Hiktim the Tashlumim. And as we've seen, you can't do the Tashlumim first. First comes the Chiyuv, and here it's clear that you did it from the fact that you said the weekday Shemoneh Esrei. But let's say it's early, you just accept the Shabbos early. You didn't have still you daven two Ma'arivs. Chiddush big, even though it's the Siman Mincha. So what would we think? It's the Siman Mincha, so let me daven Mincha. The answer is no, because you accepted Shabbos. Shtayim shel Shabbos, two of Shabbos, or Rishon l'shem Arvis, v'shni l'shem Tashlumim Mincha. O b'di'evin v'zal Rishon l'shem Mincha, v'afilu v'zal l'shem shel Chol, efsher diyatzal ha'il v'dayin yom l'hu. So that's going to be the one Chiddush we'll call it, is that since L'maisa it's day, you just accepted Shabbos. If you messed up and you davened the weekday Shemoneh Esrei, it says the Mishnah Beruraha, efsher you are yotzei. Sivkat Chavav Shtayim. V'chein Pasuk Magen Ram V'derechayim V'chayodim Sha'archonin is like a Lavosh V'siyatoi. This is all not like the Vosh, and those that hold like him Shesarvim Dein Tzarech L'Atzke V'shniya Shel Rosh Chodesh. So interesting. This din that if you forgot and now it is currently Rosh Chodesh, now Ma'ariv began Rosh Chodesh. Lavosh L'maisa holds that you do not say Yal V'Yavai the second one. Mishlos Bal Arvis Rosh Chodesh. You miss Ma'ariv and you daven two Shachris, and the second Shachris, which is Ma'ariv, you forgot Yal V'Yavai, ain't Zar Lachzor. Why? Because as we pointed out, just like if you're davening Ma'ariv itself and you didn't say Yal V'Yavai, you wouldn't go back. Therefore, Tashlumim can be more chamer. Similarly, if you made a mistake and you did not have a mincha Rosh Chodesh shnei yamim. It's 2 days Rosh Chodesh. Umizal arvish tayim v'shnei tashlum shal mincha. Filo isker Rosh Chodesh ain't zar lachzor. Why? Kim da filo beikar at filo da arvish is zar lachzor v'shvil Yal V'Yavai, as we pointed out, that you don't go back and daven Ma'ariv again for Yal V'Yavai. Kal v'chayim rashu achshav tashlumim. Certainly tashlumim you will not be more chamer and you will not go back and say Shemoneh Esrei again. Now, Sif Got Chav Zayin is going to the end of the Sif over here, which Ramah taught us that if you said Yal V'Yav in the first Shemona Esrei, if you did not say Yal V'Yav in the first Shemona Esrei, which is the Ma'ariv, and you said it in the second one, which is the Mincha, still Sarach Lachzar Ule Isbalo. Says Mishmur Sif Got Chav Zayin, Tibazeh Shlo Yizker B'Rishayna, Kali Daite Diniskavin Bal L'Shem Tashlumim Shal Erev Rosh Chodesh Avichal. And here is the Chiddush. Because as we pointed out, Ma'ariv, you never go back. So if I forget Yal V'Yav by the first and I remember by the second, that should be Gevaldik. Because the second is Mincha, I got Yal V'Yav. The first is Ma'ariv, I did not. Okay, I messed up. You don't repeat Shemona Esrei, so why here do you repeat? Says Mishnah Beruraha, you know why? Because the fact that you didn't say Yal V'Yav in the first one reveals that the first one to you were doing as Tashlumim Shal Rosh Chodesh for the weekday. You're not yoytzer with that Shemona Esrei. And that's why, even though in the second one you said Yal V'Yav, but you never did your Tashlumim, you have to say another Shemona Esrei. You have to go back and do it again. That's only if it's Rosh Chodesh. Therefore, the fact you did not say Al V'Yav in the first Shemona Esrei shows you that you were davening a Choldik Shemona Esrei. You were davening for the weekday. Let's say Rosh Chodesh is 2 days. So now the fact that you didn't say Yal V'Yav doesn't show that you were davening for a mincha, because the previous day was Rosh Chodesh as well. And then what happened? Then in that case, you don't have to go back. Why not? Like a raya, there's no raya that you did it as tashlumim, and therefore it goes into the regular din that you don't go back for not saying al v'yavoy by ma'ariv. The Achronim continue, that which Ramah says, if you did not say in the first Shemona Esrei, but you said it in the second Shemona Esrei, Hani Mili Bistama, Avlim Kivim Befeirosh, Harishon L'Shem Chayva Vashniel L'Tashlama Yatza. Because if the first one is your Chayva, it's a Ma'ariv, and the second one is your Ashlama, it's Mincha, and you did not say Al V'Yav in the first one, which is Ma'ariv, you don't go back. You said Al V'Yav in the second one, which is Mincha, and therefore you are Yaitse. The whole issue here is that it's a Nireh. It looks like you were trying to do the Tashlumim first, but if you clearly did not, then you would be Yaitse. We finish up with Sif Yot. Says the Mechaber Tavlis Ba'al Mincha B'Shabbos. You miss Mincha on Shabbos. You daven two Ma'arivs. Ma'avdil Barishayna. Now, here it goes. You messed up. So you're davening two Ma'arivs. But what happens? The first one, you said Atachan Tanu. Ve'eno Ma'avdil B'Shniya. Ve'im Lo Yhivdil. Excuse me, that's what you're supposed to do. Excuse me. One more time. You messed up and you did not daven Mincha on Shabbos. You have to daven two Ma'arivs. What are you supposed to do? You only have to say Avdallah once. Only one Atachan Tanu. So Ma'avdil Barishayna, and you don't do Avdallah for the second one. As the second one is the Tashlumim, it is Mincha. Let's say you messed up and you did not do Avdallah on the first, but you did in the second. Shni also Rishayna also. The second tefillah works, not the first one. Then you are Yaitse. So says the Mishnah Beruraha, what's going on over here? What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to be Hevdel Barishayna and not to be Hevdel B'Shniya. Explains the Mishnah Beruraha. What's the reason? Misham Davdol Daibam Echad. You only need one Havdalah. Masha'inki Mishav Rosh Chodesh Laskira. B'chol HaTfilah is the previous Sif and Sif Test. Talking about Yal V'Yavai. There you have to say it on every Tfilah. Kein Pasuk B'Sif HaKodim the Mitzvah Shel Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Shtayim. So then, said Sif Katzon Chav Test. What happens? That if you were Mavdil in the second and not the first, the second counts and the first does not count. Says the Mishnah Beruraha, what does it mean? Rishayna loy also loy. Sif Katzon Chav Test. As always, the Chi of Shemona Esrei has to come first. And again, this guy, by not doing Atachan Tanu in the first and doing the second, what did he show us? That the first is Tashlumim. Therefore, the Chesar Lachs Tashlumim B'lei Avdallah. If you have to say a third Shemona Esrei without Avdallah, let's say he knew this halacha, and that's the halacha that we can't not forget. The first is the Chiyav, second is Tashlumim. But what did he mess up? He messed up. He stopped messed up and he forgot to say Avdallah in the first. Remember the second one, Vishagav and Iskavin Klal Ein Tzarech Lachzor. So this is the unique case that when you don't have Kavanah, it sometimes could end up helping you because you're not showing that it is a Tashlumim. And with this we conclude that what did the Machaber conclude with? That if you're Mavdil or not Mavdil and both of them you are Yoitze, what's the reason? Calls that Bistama. Again, this is Bistama of him. But if you messed up and you had in mind the first one should be Tashlumim, near to Loyatza says Dal Yerabba. If you're loyev zol b'shem sivkat alam da'am v'shem chayzim b'shal askar so Avdallah b'tfila. Why are you yaitz if you didn't say Avdallah neither? Because you never go back for missing out to Chanan Tanu. Hayel v'yachaleim ra'alakais because you just do Avdallah alakais which causes in Reisadi Dalid. V'machar ta'am and here's the $1 million mess up. After you did you daven ma'ariv and you forget yal v'yavai, you go and you ate something. Ta'am kodem shem alakais. The kaim lazar lazar well then you have to daven again. Mikol makaim. Also, let's feel tashlumim. So you're like, oy so if I have to daven again, did I now mess up my tashlumim? No, the tashlumim works. Why? You were potter, you had your chiyav, then you did your tashlumim, then you ate, which messed up your chiyav. Now you got to re-go daven, but your tashlumim works. We'll pick it up from Sif Yud Aleph B'siyata Tishmai.